Hey, Shalom. This is a brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rokah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath who will believe in this word in all truth and in sincerity. Yahweh is the name of the one they ignorantly call God. Yahweh Shai is the name of the one they ignorantly call Jesus. Bahashem is in the name. Rakah is spirit. Kodash is holy. Akyam is brothers. Akwath is sisters. Shalom means peace. And Yasher Allah is Israel in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. This is Daniel chapter 2. I'm going to jump down to verse 44. And it reads, "And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever." All right, I want to go into a lesson on that. The kingdom of heaven being established, which is a government, it's a rulership. When we grew up in Christianity, we were taught that, the kingdom of heaven was some mythological place, in the sky where you just, dwell forever. Now, there is a spirit, a heavenly realm. All right, but when we talk about the kingdom of heaven, that's a government on earth that's going to be established beginning with Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. All right, and a lot of our people don't really understand this. Even those who are Israelites, they don't really understand the end goal. This is a government being established. All right, this is the beginning of the kingdom being built up before the eyes of all these nations. When it's established, people are going to look back at the time through the spirit of now when it was being built up in the spirit. Because one of the key components to building up a nation, a government, an empire, it's a mindset first. All right, it starts in the spirit first. All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, and verse 20. "Therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. If your delight be then in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom, that ye may reign forevermore." All right, and this is something we talk about a lot down here, that when we think about rulership, a lot of times it is simplified to just the title and the perks. They don't really touch on the responsibility of having dominion and rulership. People throw around terms like gods and kings, and they don't really understand the responsibility behind those titles. All right, being the children of God, being the sons of God. Our people hear that and their ears perk up because they've been taught that they were slaves their whole life. But when you tell them the responsibility that comes with that title, they run away from it. And that's a childlike mindset. And the Lord is teaching us, as Paul said, you know, people get on Paul, but, that's irrelevant, to the pure, all things are pure. But we understand better than we did in the world. All right, and that means that we had a childish mentality in the world, and the Lord has matured our understanding, because you have a lot of grown men with childlike mentalities. All right, when you come into this truth, it forces your mentality to mature, your discernment, your judgment, your understanding to mature. All right, real quick, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 11. "When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child." And it makes me think because, in this world, you're taught, if you have a family, you go to work every day, you're a grown up now. But you can have all of those things and still have a childlike mentality. And that's why scriptures talk about those without understanding will remain in the congregation of the dead. Because if you think Babylon is going to continue forever, if you think that not understanding geopolitics as a man, especially an Israelite man, if you think that is irrelevant, you don't really understand. You have a childlike mentality. Scriptures talk about watch as well as pray. And this is why the Lord said this in Jeremiah, the 5th chapter. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. Jeremiah 5, and I'll start at 5. "I will get me unto the great men and will speak unto them." Our elders, I think about Elder Yashawamba, Elder Arawam in Birmingham, you know that this isn't for the casual Israelite. This isn't for the low-level thinking Israelites. Now, everyone has their measure according to faith through the Spirit, but the Lord is really raising up the governing body of Yashar Allah. You're going to have believers, of course, you know, the women, all right, the children, but the Lord is primarily raising up the governing body. And a part of a governing body is an understanding. You know, you have to understand the mission, understand what's being accomplished. You know, the Lord is literally giving us a front seat in nation building, in empire building, how it starts, what it looks like. Most of our people don't want to be a part of this because this is the dirty part of an empire being established. And when I say dirty, I just mean this is when you have to get your hand. It's a laborious work. And there's no carnal, tangible reward in the moment. And because our people have been taught instant gratification, they leave this because they don't understand what this actually is. All right? Contrary to popular belief, you know, royalty kings, they spend a lot of time learning. You know, they spend a lot of time dealing with matters that don't get brought up in festivals. All right? And this is why our people don't want to be a part of this work, because they want the trinkets. They want the things that come with rulership. All right? This is why Wisdom of Solomon in the 6th chapter says this. Wisdom of Solomon 6:21, if your delight be then in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom, that ye may reign forevermore. And the Lord is teaching us to honor wisdom first and foremost, to serve him first and foremost, and to love that process. All right? That's why there's a delayed gratification. Because we're learning to love the important things. So when all those other things that we desire get poured onto us, all right, we won't hold them as dear as we hold serving Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. All right, and that's not, you can't have a low-level mindset when you come into that. You can't have, patience is a virtue, you know, and they say that in the world, and it's a cheesy statement because the world has abused it, but it's true. And the only way you can develop patience is to literally suffer. All right, suffer being in the lower state. Suffer knowing what the Lord has in store for us as a nation of people, but still having to deal in this world in a lower state, man. But this is the beginning of the kingdom of heaven. Whether the world understands that or not is irrelevant. You know, that's why the Lord said this in 2nd Esdras chapter 8. Because you can try to beat people over the head with these precepts to make them understand, but ultimately, if it's not for them, it's not for them. Just like everybody likes the titles of rulership, but really when you think about it, only the qualified ones, when you deal with aristocracy or aristocrats, all right, that's a government with the best citizens that are fit to rule. Every citizen of a nation isn't necessarily fit to rule. This is why you have hierarchy amongst nations. This is why you have a president and a governor and all of these different positions, because the Lord places certain gifts on certain men, all right, to conduct a kingdom. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. Every brother has their measure, all right, in the governing of the kingdom, so to speak. That's what the ministry is about. At this point, it's about edifying, all right? It's about watching, all right? But at some point, the government of Yahweh Shema Shai is going to surpass doing videos and teaching. And it's literally going to be a government, a physical government established on earth in righteousness that will not be destroyed. All right. And this is something we don't learn in the Christian church. Christianity doesn't tell you about the tabernacle of David. All right. Now, I just paraphrased it, so I want to grab it. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 8 and 51. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. So for the elect's sake, we endure all things. You know, Lord willing, we be a part of that number. But the end goal is a government being established on earth in righteousness. All right, where all the other nations, if they have an issue, they can literally come to Israel, and it'll be dealt with in righteousness, not in deception, not in finesse, but in righteousness, where a poor man can get justice. If some rich man takes his wife and commits adultery with her, he's not going to be able to buy his way out of that judgment. That certain things should not even be considered food. It shouldn't even be on your menu or your plate. It's the small things that may seem unimportant to people that have great effects on the planet. And that's why the Lord's going to set up a government which shall not be destroyed, beginning with Yahweh Shai, man. All right? This is Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. All right? So Yahweh Shai this is his realm. All right? He's coming back to collect. All right? We touched on it last night that, when the empire is established, a lot of times it's established with the destruction of the previous empire. And that's how the new empire stamps its reign. But this reign is not going to be destroyed ever. Brothers were touching on it last night. There's going to be a campaign. When Yahweh Shah says in righteousness, the scriptures say in righteousness he both judge and make war. There's going to be a campaign involved with that. All right, going around the earth, hunting these elites from wherever they were hiding. And the Lord is going to set up order and rank, and he's going to campaign against this. And then all of this is going to be dissolved, and the elect are going to be a part of dismantling this kingdom, all right, and building up the kingdom of heaven. When they talk about all the dead bodies, continual employment, the elect are going to be the governing body to enforce that. When you talk about the city, let's go there. We touched on it last night, but I want to touch the precept. This is Tobit 13 in verse 9. O Jerusalem, the holy city, he will scourge thee for thy children's works, and will have mercy again on the sons of righteousness. Give praise to the Lord, for he is good, and praise the everlasting King, that his tabernacle may be builded in thee again with joy, and let him make joyful there in thee those that are captives, and love in thee forever those that are miserable. Now I want to jump down to verse 16. For Jerusalem shall be built up with sapphires and emeralds and precious stone. That means there's a major mining operation that has to happen to get those stones out of the earth. And I'm just highlighting points that there's going to be, the kingdom of heaven is going to be physical. It's not going to be some mysticism. It's going to be a physical kingdom on earth, man. All right? And that's what's happening right now. The government of Yahweh Shai is being established, with one of the key things being order. When Queen Sheba went to Solomon, all right, during the 40 years of peace, she marveled at the ordering of the kingdom. How well dressed, how well things were ordered. That's going to be established forever. And this is why, the scriptures talk about the apostles being set up last as it were appointed unto death, to give clarity to the scriptures. Because Christianity has taught the world the kingdom of heaven is some mysticism. No, it's a government that's going to be on earth. The same way Esau got garrisons all across the planet, and he's ruling in wickedness, the kingdom of heaven is going to be a rulership on earth in righteousness. Total control, total dominion, but in righteousness. And the heathens are going to be far happier then. I was thinking about this. Just knowing what death is, just knowing that certain questions are answered. You don't have to worry about if there's a God. That's known. Check that off your list. What about death? Check that off your list. The same things we know in faith are going to be taught globally, everywhere. It's not like we're going to have to go to certain nations and be like, look, they got to be stoned for doing that. They can't commit adultery and just... No, you got to stone that person, man. Both of them. We ain't even going to have to go to... They're going to know these laws. The same way they keep their own laws in their lands right now under Esau, they're going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shema Shah, man. And they're going to see that it's the right way. And through that government, the world is going to be established and far more beautiful than it is now. It's going to be able to give its full strength. We're going to be able to tap into the full potential of the earth, man. Man, Lord willing. Lord willing, man. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6 and verse 24. But the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, and a wise king is the upholding of the people. I was thinking about this too, like, our apostles, our beloved apostles and their dedication, for these decades, man. It's the responsibility of serving Yahweh Shema Shai for the purpose of a government being established, man. It's a reason that the so-called white man holds George Jefferson, Salakia, Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington to a certain esteem because they recognize them as the ones who founded, the kingdom that they enjoy. They have certain names that are remembered forever in American history because of their hand in establishing America. Where the elect are having a hand in establishing, the kingdom of heaven. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. All right. And for brothers that labor, whether your videos get two or three views, the Lord sees that work and that contribution will be remembered. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. And we're learning that. Like, it's like, I think about this a lot. Like, we have been so destroyed mentally in Babylon that our people have no concept of nation building, of being nation minded. You have leaders of these other nations that have to look at the bigger picture. They got to look at what's the future for us as a people. If the Lord don't come back, our future is bleak. Our people don't see that, even though the Lord is making that plain. But for those that know it, we labor to enter into our rest. And we endure all things for the elect's sake, because there are some brothers, Lord willing, we be a part of that number, and the sisters too, that are just waking up, that need your labor, your contribution. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. Brothers who get 2 views or 3 views, that may be the one of those views may be the person that needed to hear that message at that right time, man. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. This is not a labor in vain. This is not a vain work. This is the Lord testing our integrity in a lower state. I want to get this from Yahweh Shai. This is Matthew chapter 24 and 45. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household to give them meat in due season? And in a nutshell, that's the elect. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. Serving Yahweh Shema Shai to the best of our ability. All right? Being stewards. When you look at the word steward, it's not the same as a normal servant in the household. The steward had to be aware of the overall household condition. And that's what the Lord has given every brother, a certain measure to contribute to building up the kingdom of heaven. This is what nation building looks like. Our people don't understand that because they've been destroyed mentally. All right, they've been taught to be dependent on the so-called white man. So they have no concept of nation building. They have no concept of the kingdom of heaven being a government, even though it's being told to them, because they're so attached to the so-called white man and his rulership, they don't see anything past that. But the Lord has given us, Lord, when we be a part of that number, the vision and understanding of what's happening in the earth, what's about to happen, and to what end. Because the Lord said this, it ain't all doom and gloom, but we understand why the doom and gloom is necessary. Because all of this wickedness cannot go unchecked. And when you understand rulership, it's crazy, right? The Lord gave us the law, statutes, and commandments, and in it you see opportunities of mercy, you see opportunities of judgment, and then you start to understand why judgment is so important, why you have to take care of certain things when they're small, because when it becomes a part of the culture, your culture is destroyed. We're learning this in the hardest way possible. We're on the other side of the earth, and our society has been destroyed. So much so that our people can't even fathom the fact that we had a high society. We weren't a nation of entertainers. You had scientists, you had men of understanding. And that has been taken from us because of our own pride and our disobedience. But the Lord is going to establish us again, and that's what we labor to enter into, that rest. And that is the tough part of nation building, that is not pretty. Even with all of these camps and all of these different divisions, that's a part of this. Being forged with fire. This is a part of the kingdom of heaven being established. And the Lord has given us the vision to understand that this is a government being established on earth. And it's not pretty, but it's necessary, man. This is the only way we're going to appreciate what we have when the Lord give it to us. This is Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 18. For thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua himself that formed the earth and made it. He hath established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. And that's the point that I want to bring out too. That the Lord ain't make the earth for us to just live in a concrete jungle and work until we die. All these creatures, all these different sceneries across the planet, from Hawaii to wherever the case, all these beautiful things in nature, and we don't get to enjoy them because we have to work for fiat currency. This is not going to go on in the kingdom of heaven, man. Even the heathens are going to get to enjoy the kingdom. They're going to get to enjoy the earth, man. There's going to be hierarchy because there's always order. Even right now, whether people want to admit it or not, there's order. The so-called white man is in charge over all the other nations. But at this point, his kingdom is divided against itself. Yet in the kingdom of heaven, through the Spirit, the world is going to witness true order, proper order, and it will never be destroyed, man. And it's to the end that the earth is inhabited, all right? Enjoyed. Life ain't just about surviving. There's a level of enjoyment that should come with life, man. You shouldn't have to go to a video game to get some enjoyment out of life. The Lord made the whole earth in abundance. But the wrong people have control of the resources. So the kingdom of heaven is going to establish order, all right? Beginning with Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, man. All right, this is Revelation chapter 5 and verse 10. All right, and it reads, and has made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth, man. Salaki, and it's not just for the title. You know, it's also to establish the earth in righteousness. To infinity and beyond, if you will, you know. We have so much to look forward to, Lord willing, we'll be a part of that number, but this is the establishment. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath who will believe in this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.